Alright, let's get back into this story. This is part 2, and honestly, Remy looks wrong in this situation. I'm just being straight with you. Things could have gone very badly for Papoose that night, and now the details are finally coming out. The man speaking in the live video was Easy's bodyguard at the time. He was the one who handled security for him. Recently, he went live and revealed everything that happened at the event in question. Since he and Easy are no longer close, he's doing what many people do after falling out. He's exposing all the things they kept quiet about when they were cool. Now that they aren't on good terms, he's telling the full story and clearing the air. Shout out to Polo from Polo World, who got the Instagram live and broke it all down. I believe Polo World is his main channel, and he also works with Black Compass Media. Either way, he helped spread the footage so people could understand what really happened. Now let's get into the situation. As I explained in part 1, Remy already knew Papoose was heading to the event. She found out he was coming because Miss Hustle let him know that Easy was there. But here's the important part. Even though Remy knew both men would show up, she didn't warn either of them. Papoose had no idea Easy would be at the event. Easy had no idea Papoose was coming. But Remy knew both would be there at the same time. She kept that information to herself, even though both men had personal involvement with her. By not saying anything, she created a very tense situation without either side realizing what they were walking into. Once Papoose heard Easy was present, he rushed over. Meanwhile, Remy knew exactly what was going on, but she didn't give Easy any heads up. In the beginning, neither man knew the other would be attending, but she did. The bodyguard, known as Muslim Poppy, explained everything that took place that night. He laid out how things escalated and how serious the moment became. According to him, there was tension, confusion, and anger, all because no one knew the full story except Remy. He exposed what happened behind the scenes, and the picture he painted wasn't pretty. The situation could have easily gotten out of control. I'll play the clip from Remy as well, but first, here's what he explained about that night.
Ja and his lady, they trying to find a car, get valet to get the car. I'm like, where your car? Where your car at?
Polo was adding a little extra excitement to the moment, but the real issue was what the man in the background was saying. He kept repeating that Papoose had just hit his brother, and he wanted to know where Papoose went. He was angry and ready to react. He kept telling them to bring the car around because, in his words, he was about to ice him, meaning he planned to seriously harm him. He explained that the weapons were inside the car, which is why he needed the valet to hurry. He said all of this right in front of Remy. He wasn't whispering or hiding anything. He was openly talking about getting revenge, and Remy kept asking, "Where's the car? Bring the car." As the situation grew more tense.
So I'm like, yo, where this nigga at? The nigga stole my brother. He punched my, nigga snuck my brother.
Nigga, what?
My brother, where the car at? Because I'm like, I'm icy.
Okay. Polo doing a little bit too excitement, but what dude's saying in the background is he just punched on my brother. Where's he at? Where Papoose at? He just punched on my brother. Where Papoose at? Bring the car around because I'm about to ice him. Put him on ice mean I'm about to put him in the morgue because, you know, it's cold in the morgue. The bodies be frozen in the morgue. So he's saying this in front of Remy. I'm about to kill him. I'm about to ice him. You know what I mean? And the valet need to bring the car around because that's where the gun's at. And Remy like, where the car at? Where the car? Watch this.
Bro, 5 minutes go by. I'm like, the nigga Pap got to be gone. So eventually we get the will, right? This certain back. So eventually we get the will. The will come out. The valet pull the will out. I pop the trunk. I grab the thing. Main man, I'm gonna tell you, the rapper boy that was explaining the story, he was exaggerating a little bit about the niggas putting them. Well, he wasn't exaggerating. I ain't tuck no smoke. Main man that was next to me
in New York,
he tucked it. Yeah, but I raised the iron. That's why the boy said he told everybody run up the street. A certain battle rapper with us. He like, I think he in the Sprinter. Man, wallahi. I'm glad nothing. I mean, now I'm like, I'm glad I ain't really Had to, but if main man was right, if the boy Pat was right there, it was over.
Oh,
They said he in a sprint. I raised out about the left. When I say a second, like a millisecond. Where I'm like, no, he not in the sprinter. He not in the sprinter. He not in the sprinter. Man, that shit was about to get lit up like July 4th.
All right, so this is where things get even more serious. The shooter steps in, the car pulls up, the trunk opens, and the gun is taken out. Remy is standing right there the entire time. They keep asking, "Where's Pap? Where's Papoose?" Because they believe he's still inside the Sprinter van. They are ready to fire at the vehicle without hesitation. Remy quickly tells them, "No, he's not in the Sprinter," trying to redirect them at the last second. Now look at the situation for what it really is. Remy is involved with another man while still being legally married. She's standing with people who are moments away from harming her husband, the father of her child. Instead of stepping back, stopping it, or showing any loyalty, she's acting like Papoose is the problem. She's behaving as if he's the one crossing the line, when in reality, she is the one creating the chaos. She's literally there with the same people who are ready to hurt him because of the mess she created. And she isn't warning him, protecting him, or even stepping away from the situation. She's allowing the moment to unfold, almost as if she's choosing sides. That's a painful thought when you consider the history and life they built together. If something terrible had happened that night, let's be honest, Remy would not have told the truth. She wouldn't have sat down with their daughter and explained what really happened. She would have created a story to make herself look innocent. She would have said they were separated, or that Papoose already knew she had moved on. Anything to avoid admitting her role in the situation. Even though they were still living under the same roof, still sharing a life, and still connected, she would have twisted the narrative. That kind of behavior is beyond wrong. It's heartbreaking and messy. To stand with people ready to harm your own husband over your choices is something no loyal partner would ever do. And yet, she stayed there, right in the middle of it, while everything around her spiraled out of control.
Okay? I literally peeled niggas off your ass because niggas, I can't even go to that venue no more because the way niggas was acting when they got about, when you ran off into the night with a mask on and nobody knew where you went to. Niggas was like, we doing this, we doing this. You know what I said? Sorry, guys. That's my husband, still. And that's my daughter's father. I can't do nothing. Yes, he was absolutely wrong. He was dead wrong. He was out of pocket.
Look at what's happening here. First of all, Papoose was not wrong for reacting the way he did. He wasn't being reckless, he wasn't out of pocket. He's your husband, and he was trying to protect his home and his peace. Meanwhile, you were lying, hiding things, and twisting the situation. You didn't tell the truth to either man. And that's where everything started falling apart. We're hearing the shooter explain the moments leading up to what almost happened. He said you kept telling them to pull the cars around. You pushed them to move the vehicles because you knew the weapons were inside. That means you were helping them get ready. He said that clearly. You weren't stopping them, calming them down, or saying, "Hey, hold on, that's my child's father."
She has the event. I'm going to the event because I go to all the events. I'm going to the event, but
He's going to the event, just like he always does. Remy already knows this because they discussed it at home before leaving. She understands how attached he is to her. She even mentioned that he follows her everywhere and doesn't like being apart from her. No matter where she goes, he's right there beside her. That's why you see him showing up at every place she appears.
okay, right there. He's going to the event. He go to all the events. Remy already know this. She already know he coming to the event. They already talked about it at home, everything. You know he clingy to her, like she said like he clingy to her. She can't do nothing without him. So everywhere she goes, that's exactly where he is at. That's where you get this at.
Right there, you can already tell she knows he's going to show up. That part is obvious. Then he starts talking, saying he hopes a certain person isn't there because he doesn't want things to get physical. After that, he explains he's getting ready. By this time, she has already left the house. The event is starting, and he's still at home putting on his clothes. This shows she left before him on purpose. She knows he's coming later, but she has to arrive early because it's her event. She needs to check everything, make sure things are organized, and be there before everyone else. While she's handling her responsibilities, he's still getting dressed and preparing to follow after her. So she goes first and he comes later. That part is completely clear. Now pay attention to what happens next.
Lying. You was devastated that a regular nigga that used to work for sanitation, got a pension plan, got a 401k, that happens to... He used to be gorilla glued to my nuts everywhere I went. Not because I'm a cheater and because I can't keep my legs closed, but because he was so worried about an athlete or another rapper or an executive getting my attention and I'll leave.
When you listen to that moment, you can hear the frustration all over his voice. He can't believe what's happening, and honestly, anyone in his position would feel the same way. He's thinking, she has to be joking. Why would she even let this happen? And the reason he reacts like that is because they already had this conversation at home. He had already explained how he felt and what he planned to do if he ever ran into that man again. She knew exactly how serious he was. Yet she still invited the guy to the event while knowing her husband was coming too. That's why he's so shocked. He's wondering if she has lost her mind. But what he doesn't realize is that the entire situation looks intentional. It feels too organized to be an accident. Nothing about it seems random. It's almost like every detail was arranged ahead of time. That's the only explanation that makes sense to him, because there isn't...
I'm hoping the lame ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have to really put my hands on them. Cool. I'm getting dressed. She leave. They start the event. I'm still at the crib. I get dressed.
Any other logical reason for her choices. She knew her husband would show up. She also knew her boyfriend would be in that same room.
I said, she gotta be kidding me, man. I done told you I'm gonna put this nigga down and you bring him to the event. I done told you numerous times, when I catch this nigga, I'm gonna put him down. Mind you,
She wasn't confused or unaware. She knew exactly what was happening from beginning to end. And think about this. Her husband had already told her plainly what he planned to do when he saw that man again. He wasn't joking. He wasn't hiding it. He said it out loud. So if she knew all of that, why would she allow both men to be in the same place at the same time? Why would she risk a disaster like that? Nothing about it makes sense. It raises big questions. Something feels completely off. Then we hear that Papoose gets a warning from Miss Hustle. She lets him know the guy is actually there. And Papoose reacts instantly. She has got to be kidding me. Does she want me to get locked up? Does she want something bad to happen? He can't wrap his head around why she put him in that position. To him, it feels dirty. It feels wrong. It's betrayal on another level. What makes it worse is that Papoose is completely unaware of everything happening. Behind the scenes, he doesn't know the full story. But the whole situation was seconds away from turning into something extremely dangerous. If he hadn't stepped outside when he did, if he had stayed a little longer like most husbands do, things could have gone left quickly. The tension was already building. Emotions were already high. The atmosphere was explosive. If he had stayed in that room another 5 minutes, someone could have lost their life. And if something terrible happened, what would the explanation have been? What excuse could she possibly give their daughter? How could she tell her child that her father died because he was trying to protect his family? How could she say he lost his life because he loved her mother and didn't want to let go? How could she admit that everything happened because she was involved with another man and didn't want to make things right at home? Imagine trying to explain that to a child. Imagine trying to justify it. You can't. There is no excuse that could soften that kind of pain. There is no explanation that could erase that kind of guilt. And the sad thing is, people don't even focus on her work anymore. The conversation isn't about her music, her career, or her accomplishments. The scandal is louder than everything else she has done. It overshadows her legacy. The story is bigger than her songs. Even if she didn't go platinum with her music, she went viral with this situation. The internet doesn't forget. People online have turned this into a main topic, and it won't disappear anytime soon. Then you have the blame being thrown toward bloggers. But the truth is, bloggers didn't create this drama. They only talked about what was already out in the open. Every clip, every message, every rumor. None of that came from the bloggers themselves. These details came from the people involved. They put the information out publicly, and once it's public, people will talk about it. You can't be angry at the coverage when you're the one feeding the story. It's messy. It's out of pocket. And yet it's dirty. There's no other word for it. Everything about it feels wrong. Then later, the artist even wrote a song about situations like this. Situations where two people fall apart, drift in different directions, and make choices that lead to heartbreak. The song tells a story about two partners who stopped paying attention to each other. Late nights, ignoring phone calls, tension between their friends, secrets building up, and both of them getting caught up in things they shouldn't have been involved in. The lyrics talk about mistakes, denial, and the moment when everything comes crashing down. There's a baby on the way with someone he doesn't love. She's involved with a man who sells drugs. They're both afraid to confess the truth, because they don't know how to face the consequences. They're stuck in a situation neither of them are ready to deal with, but they also can't keep living the lie. The song then shifts into heartbreak. Pictures thrown across the floor, sleepless nights, living in misery, refusing to eat, avoiding the bed because it reminds him of the betrayal. He's losing control, wrecking his car because he's overwhelmed with pain. He's close to doing something drastic just to escape the suffering. Then he finds himself walking into a church he's never visited before. He doesn't know why he went or what he's looking for. But the preacher calls him up and tells him, "If you've had enough, go fix your life. Get your wife. Fight for your family. Don't give up." It's a story about how adultery creates chaos. It burns everything around it. It ruins homes, destroys trust, damages families, and leaves people emotionally broken. The song calls it adultery fire, meaning once it starts, it spreads fast and leaves nothing untouched. And that connects back to the situation we're talking about. That same kind of fire is burning through their lives right now. It's affecting everyone, from kids to friends to fans. Nobody walks away clean when betrayal is involved. Everyone feels the heat. And in the middle of all of this, there's still the human side, the heartbreak, the confusion, the anger, and the disbelief. These moments don't just go away. They stay with people. They shape how they move forward. They change the way they trust. They change the way they love. This whole situation is a reminder that when you play with people's hearts and you break the promises you made, the consequences can be dangerous. Lives can change in an instant. One bad choice can create a chain reaction that nobody can stop.